We're gonna start. Thanks for being here. Just wanted to introduce our speaker today. This is Kinkead. He's a staff attorney at the Sylvia Law Rivera Project and also their director of the Prisoner Justice Project. Previously, Mick was also a staff attorney at the Prisoners Legal Services in New York. He graduated from Kinkead Law School and he focused on rights of youth in adult prisons as well as poverty law representation. He currently works in areas of racial and trans justice, LGBTQ youth homelessness, suicide and crisis prevention, and disability justice. We're really excited to have him here to talk about how state violence is perpetrated against women of color and specifically trans women of color. So give it up for Meg. First, I think Mick's going to speak for a little while about the issues that he's working on, the sort of lay of the land, and what the most pressing issues are. Then I'll ask a few questions, and then we'll open it up to the audience. So,
thank you for having me here in this really amazing space. I got to read some of the history, and it's really excellent what's happening here. Also, that you're documenting it because. When I was at Kinkead Law School, we were part of a group that was working for a very long time to get gender neutral and gender inclusive bathrooms, and we didn't document it. And to this day, I really regret that. So I think it's fantastic that it's being documented. So I'm just going to do an overview of what Sylvia Rivera Law Project does at first, and then I'm going to talk mostly about my area of work, which is prison and jail justice, but I really, like whatever people, more time for questions is what I'm saying. So the Sylvia Rivera Law Project, we are in New York City, and two of our project areas, immigration justice, or immigrant justice, and survival and self-determination, are services that are available to people who live in the 5 boroughs in New York City. And then my project, the Prisoner Justice Project, works with anyone who's incarcerated in New York State and people who are incarcerated in New York City jails, or part of Kinkead in New York City jails. And we serve transgender, gender non-conforming, and intersex people. And our focus is on folks who are low income and folks of color. And we practice a membership model, and so we have the legal services team, which is myself and 2 other attorneys, and then we have a movement building team, and we're a nonprofit, so we have some fundraising for finance people as well. But the idea being that is everyone here a law student? Okay, cool. So like the idea being that like most of the law is written with people in power in mind, and so most of the time we're not going to win individual lawsuits, and so therefore we have to be building a membership base of the people who are most affected by concerns to do whatever it is that they want to do, if that's like protest, or if that's change policy, or if that's meet with officials, if that's like get folks who are most affected by concerns into positions of power. So for instance, I don't know anyone here has ever done any work in prison law, but prison law, the Prison Litigation Reform Act of 1996 really drastically changed the playing field, and so it's just impossible for people who are in prison and who are queer while they're in prison to ever bring a lawsuit. It's so tremendously hard. And then, but we don't want people to like come to us, tell us their story, have us work with them, and then us be like, well, we've done a legal evaluation and you don't have a chance in court, and so like that's it, thanks. We want that experience to go someplace, and so that's where the movement building team comes in, and we have our weekly meetings. We also have a prison advisory committee, which is made up of people who are on the inside, to help us do better in how we are addressing these issues. So for instance, when the Prison Elimination Act was looking for comments on regulations, the Prisoner Advisory Committee gave us feedback on every single thing that we put into our comments, and then they also provided us with more information on what their concerns were. So like for instance, when we were looking at the Prisoner Elimination Act, one of the things that we thought as an abolitionist organization was important was we don't want to put more money towards building more prisons, and so therefore having units that are specific to trans people isn't the focus because we want trans people out of prison. We don't want them in prison. We don't want anyone in prison, and so we don't want to put money towards building more prisons or building more units. And what the Prison Advisory Committee told us, which is one of those things that, like, as soon as it's said, you're like, well, that's really obvious, is we're in here. They're not going to let us out, and we are concerned about our safety. So actually, this is really important, and we need to have access to voluntary units where we can be with people who are like us, and we can be with guards who go through extensive training, and we can like have a little bit more safety in this facility that's always going to be unsafe. So that was really important because I think we were thinking about sort of the theoretical abolitionist perspective of like, we don't want more money into prisons, this is not a good idea. We don't want this idea that there's like a way to build a safer, happy prison, because all prisons are forms of torture, and so we just don't want them. And then the Prison Advisory Committee, because there were people who were living in, were like, well, okay, great, but let's actually talk about like how we can continue to live in here. And so because of that, Sylvia Better Law Project was part of a small group in New York City that helped to open the first unit that's inside the New York City jails. It was at Rikers and now it's at Manhattan Detention Complex, which is the trans housing unit. That's one of the things that I teach a class there twice a month, and it houses transgender women and gender non-conforming people who are placed in the male facilities. So for transgender men and gender non-conforming people who are placed in the women's facility, the only option is still solitary confinement, which is often the only option for transgender non-conforming and intersex people. But the Department of Justice reads the Prison Rape Elimination Act to say that you cannot have such a unit unless there's a consent decree mandating it, and so we're in a sort of constant conflict where the unit has, as of course obviously gets in a jail, so it has a million things that are wrong with it, and we're trying to push for those things to be changed, while at the same time we're very much aware that at any point in time the Department of Corrections could say, well, we're going to shut down because the Department of Justice says we're not compliant by having this unit. So it's an odd balancing act that we work out with the folks who are inside about what are their priorities and how do we get those met while also keeping the unit open. The other work that we do around state violence that happens towards TGNCI folks of color is we have a litigation at the moment called Trans+Cis. It's in the Southern District of New York, and it's a challenge to Medicaid's, New York State Medicaid's former complete blanket exclusion of any type of trans health care. And obviously this creates a lot of issues because access to healthcare is really important. When you don't have access to healthcare, in addition to just like your health itself deteriorating, your mental health can deteriorate, and it can mean that you make some really difficult choices about your life and like what you do with your life. And so we know that a lot of folks, you get healthcare needs that aren't being met because Medicaid refuses to cover them through non-formalized means of getting them, which means sometimes that like they're not real doctors that they're going to, or like they're not, getting the medication and like as like pure a form as it should be, that they're getting something that's diluted, or that they're getting something that's not necessarily as healthy, and so and also of course then it's not tracked, and so then you can't, if someone is having a reaction to a medication, or if someone is having a long-term issue such as like increased blood pressure, you don't know that because there's no one tracking you and no one like making sure that your healthcare is consistent and that you're safe. And so the effect that it has on, in particular on trans women of color, is just devastating. And also, of course, the lengths people have to go to in order to buy things that are not covered by Medicaid, and so that means a lot of folks get involved in things that are like at the time currently criminalized, like sex work or drug trade or like something else. It means a lot of people enter that because that's the only option for finding a way to pay for things that really should be paid because they're essential healthcare needs. So because of the lawsuit, which involved, at this point in time, it's 3 women, all women of color, who have shared their really like very intense and very difficult healthcare stories with the government, which I think as an attorney, what this litigation is also taught me is just that class action litigation is really, really hard on the plaintiffs. And it's also really unclear to people because this has been going on for about 3 years at this point in time, and we have made a lot of enormous gains because we haven't gone to court yet, we haven't gone to trial yet because we had settlement talks for around a year. And the state did pull back the blanket ban, and they do now provide hormones and some surgery for folks who are Medicaid eligible or transgender, but they have this long list of things that they refer to as surgeries that may be cosmetic in nature. And their claim is that they're just providing this list so that people can know that these may become cosmetic, and our position is that by providing that list, you're saying that these are cosmetic, and you should be providing these surgeries because they are, of course, medically necessary by doctors. No one goes to have a surgery for cosmetics. And also they're excluding hormones for people under 18 and surgeries that result in sterilization of people like 21. And so we're still going forward on those 3 areas. And what that also means, of course, is that we have to find plaintiffs who have stories in those areas, which means that we have to find people who are willing to talk about their identity and the harm that happens when their identity isn't being properly met. Which is it's really interesting because my focus is prisoner justice, and so this healthcare lawsuit I'm sort of on due to weird accidents and like who was admitted into what districts, and it's amazing, and I'm so honored to be a part of it. And also at the same time, I have all these people in prison who are like wanting their, and they have very, very little recourse because of the Prison Litigation Reform Act. And then there's, and not necessarily that people would want to share the things that we're asking people to share for healthcare. I'm not trying to make a comparison of that, but that there's a lot that you ask of a plaintiff when you're asking them to talk about the harm that has happened to them, and especially like the mental health harm that has happened to them because something was denied. Especially if it's something that you don't know whether or not it's going to be approved, and so like by naming this harm, you're also being real with yourself about how much it hurts you, and then if the state decides that they don't have to address that concern, you have just told yourself as well as everyone else, like, this really, really hurts me, and I'm just going to have to keep living with this. And sometimes people would prefer not to share that really hurts them because it's easier to just like keep going forward. About class action litigation. I actually kind of feel like as important as it is, it's sort of like it's a really dangerous thing to do to people. I don't know. I'm having lots of weird feelings. That's not what you asked me to talk about.
Should we move on towards questions that we have? Alright, so I know we've talked, can you talk a little bit about the specific violence that is perpetrated against transgender women of color in prison? What kinds of things do they go through in prison?
Sure. So in every jail prison system in the U.S., people are housed either according to their genitalia or according to their sex assigned at birth. And so sometimes if one doesn't seem to match how people want to be housed, they'll check the other to make sure that people are housed correctly. And so checking genitalia for the purposes of gender identity determination is a violation of the Racial Elimination Act. However, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen all the time. There are like individual stories of 1 or 2 women in particular who have been placed in women's facilities, but they're few and far between, and because of just massive amounts of litigation that happens, that's definitely not a practice. Every single one of my female clients is in a male facility. Every single one of my male clients is in a male facility. And so that obviously creates huge issues just because you're not in the right facility for yourself. And that means, in particular for women, it means just increased violence and discrimination because everyone who's in prison, for the most part, already has their dignity and humanity taken away from them by the guards on a daily basis, and that just increases. because you're seen as an anomaly and you're seen as being monstrous and you're seen as not being okay. And I think in particular, when we talk about women of color, so for New York State, we have 57 prisons in New York State. I don't know, that number is, every time I say it, I was like, wow, we have 57. Why do we have 57 prisons? And almost all of them are upstate. And then there are regions that are largely white. But the population within prison themselves are largely black and brown. And so a lot of the time you'll have white correctional officers who are encountering a person of color for the first time in their life as a prisoner. And so it reaffirms everything that already that media and upbringing are already informing white people about people of color that this is the power dynamic that happens. And so when you have white correctional officers who are encountering folks for the first time as prisoners, and then also on top of it, they're women, but they're in men's facilities. It's just all of the intersectionality of racism and transphobia and sexism just comes together, and people, my psychiatrist experience a disproportionate amount of time in solitary confinement, either disciplinary because they're considered to be out of line all the time, whether that's with their gender presentation, or that's because they're mouthy, or because they're defending themselves against sexual violence. So disproportionate times in solitary confinement, just huge fights to get basic medical needs. So not only trans-specific healthcare, but just basic medical care, this person hasn't had an HIV test since they come. Why are you not doing an HIV test? That's actually really, it's in your regulations at least 20 times that you get an HIV test every 6 months, and this person has never had an HIV test, and it's because, it's not obviously that it's never written down just because they're a trans woman of color, but it's because they're trans women of color. Likewise, people will come in because maybe they are doing a life sentence, and so they discover that they're trans. Midway through that, or people who come in as young people and come out as trans later, have a really, really hard time accessing care because you have to go to see a specialist and get diagnosed, and then you have to, after the diagnosis, go see an endocrinologist to get your correct hormones and hormones of the path that you're going to take. And the time period right now where we fight for someone to see a gender identity specialist is about 6 to 9 months. And then the period after the time that they see that person until the time that they start hormones is about a year. So they're waiting around 2 years for this to happen, which is an incredibly long time to wait for any healthcare proceeding. I don't think that other healthcare that happens in prison you have to wait that long for, although healthcare in prison you do have to wait a really long time for. I had a client who had gallbladder cancer, and the amount of time that she waited to get treatment was around a year. So, it's not as if other people are getting healthcare willy-nilly, it's that it's all shit. There's a particular type of shit that happens over here. I think the number one thing that I hear about, though, is just feeling like you're nobody, and that no one is caring for you, and no one pays attention to you, and you don't matter. Yeah. I think the majority of the letters that we get around 60 letters a month from transgender people who are outside of New York State who we can't serve, and that we respond to, and then we get, I have at the moment 45 clients, and there's a wait list as well for trans people in New York State who are serving. And it's just the constant verbal harassment. So if you're a woman, someone calls you sir or he, or really derogatory terms like he, she, or whatever. The constant use of the term faggot all the time for people. The idea that because you're a trans woman, because the world has defined transgender people by our gender identities, that means that you are also therefore just constantly sexually available. That it's impossible for you not to consent because you're just constantly consenting because of your gender identities. So just the consistent harassment and dehumanization is the number one things that we hear about, which is obviously not a litigable issue.
You talked a little bit about solitary confinement, and I know it's used as punishment, but sometimes it's the only way to keep transgender women safe from sexual violence. Can you also talk about how being in solitary confinement affects your chances at parole?
Yeah, well, both actually, because what I have found through my clients is that when a trans woman is placed in solitary confinement, she's actually at an increased risk for sexual violence, because then the correctional officers / whoever they let in has unlimited access to her. Because she is completely cut off from everyone 23 hours a day. And she has no, anything that she wants to do, she has to do through regard. So if that's like submit a medical call slip, that's through regard. She has to submit a grievance against the prison system, which the Prison Litigation Reform Act requires that you do in order to be able to go to court. She has to do that through regard. If she wants to use the telephone, she has to ask a guard to use the telephone. If she wants to mail her legal mail, she has to ask a guard to mail her legal mail. So once you're in solitary confinement, when you're in prison, your entire world is defined by what the whims of the prison guards, and when you're in solitary confinement, it just gets so much closer because there's literally no one to see. So I actually think that solitary confinement increases risks for sexual violence. And one of the women there's like a letter from Zena, who's one of our prison advisory committee members, and there's a letter from Marcy, because she just went up to advocate on Tuesday against the solitary bill, which is a New York State bill, about her time in solitary. It's just she wanted to solitary for defending herself against sexual violence, but while she was in solitary, she experienced more sexual violence. And then also, so at the moment, I think I have 3 clients that are issues, and when you're in solitary confinement, you're locked down 23 hours a day. And absent a few really specific things, like people under the age of 18 have to have access to a GED program if they have a graduated high school yet. You have no access to programs, you have no access to outside. So, and I would say, when you come up for a parole appearance, there's 3 things, at least in New York State, that the parole board is looking for is, are you sufficiently remorseful for your acts? Have you completed the programs that were assigned to you? And if there was a victim involved, what is the victim's name? And so, when you're in solitary confinement, you don't have access to programs. You can never complete programs. There was a woman who, in 2013, I submitted a letter to the parole board because in New York State you can't actually have an attorney at parole. So we just helped them prepare for it. And so I submitted a letter on her behalf explaining that she was transgender, that she had requested being placed in protective custody, which is solitary confinement, due to sexual violence she was experiencing. But then once she got into protective custody, she experienced more sexual violence. She asked to get out, and they said, nope, you're here. So now she went from being voluntary protective custody to involuntary protective custody, and she was there for the rest of the time. And so what she couldn't do was called aggression replacement therapy and alcohol substance abuse treatment, or ASAP in New York State. So that's what she couldn't complete them because she was in protective custody. She tried to get out, they made it involuntary. And the parole board's response was, one, not read the letter that I wrote because they were confused by the fact that this person had 2 names. That was too much for them. They couldn't handle it, so they didn't read it in advance. And then 2, they say, well, you didn't do your programs. And she tried to speak. And we got the parole minutes and everything to appeal it, and she tried to speak about, well, did you, when I was in their custody, did you see that? And they were like, it doesn't matter, you need to do your programs. And so then, this January in 2016, she came up for parole again. She had been moved to a maximum security prison, which was an amazing win for her because then she was able to do all these programs. She also became a mental health care assistant, and she also became a GED tutor. So she was having a significantly better life. It's right there. She had a beautiful application for parole, and she wanted to parole. And they said that she wasn't sufficiently remorseful for her crime, which was a robbery that she committed when she was 10 years ago. And I think it's one of those things that when we over-incarcerate and when we over-criminalize every single action, I don't know what was happening in her life at that time, and I'm not saying that you can go around robbing people and that's fine, but maybe she wasn't really remorseful for it, because maybe she was I don't know what else I would have done in that situation. I don't know what her life was, but I can imagine lots of different circumstances. The majority of homeless youth in New York State, for instance, are LGBT identified. and we have 3 shelters that are dedicated to LGBT youth. I used to work in an LGBT youth shelter, and the number of youth that we put on the street every night because we couldn't help them was just awful. And so, like, I can imagine, like, you're a young person on the street and you're a trans woman of color, and you're like, you know what, I don't know how I'm going to live. I'm going to take this Metro card. Like, that actually, I can see where that logic comes from, and I can see why she went before the parole board and they're like, are you really upset and sorry about this? And she'd be like, well, I don't know. I'm not sure that would do a difference.
So you've addressed how transgender women of color are oppressed within prison. Can you talk about how police profiling and police action outside of prison contribute to the disproportionate numbers of transgender women within prison?
Yeah, there's a page in there that's sort of a cycle of poverty and criminalization. So absolutely, like, just when you are a trans woman of color and you're just walking in the world, your body itself becomes suspect, and so a lot of people are just targeted for the way that they look on the street, which obviously is not true. A lot of people feel that way in other ways, either because of race or because of gender and other situations. And then this combination of being a trans woman of color, just trying to live your life, means that you're constantly being stopped for police frisks, or for ID checks, or for, in New York State, we're no longer supposed to be compliant with secure communities, although sometimes that does happen, but like ICE checks as well. And so, we hear from so many women that, in particular when they're in certain neighborhoods, they will just get stopped every single time they're on the street and asked to present an ID and just say what they're doing there, and to consent to a search of their body, and then consent to a search of their legs. And there's terrible laws in New York State around things that you can and cannot carry. And so, for instance, having more than one condom on you can be used as corroborative evidence that you were engaging in prostitution. And so, anyone who has more than one condom on them could be taken by a police officer on a charge of sex work. And that's what a lot of our clients are in on, because they fit this profile that, like, all transgender women are sex, all transgender women are constantly involved in sex, all transgender women are ages. And so therefore, the fact that you're on the street, and whether that is for sex work or that is still because, like, you wanted to get some milk at the bodega, that makes you unlawful. And then, of course, one of the things that we do is we do ID changes, because that's a huge issue. That a lot of people don't have IDs at all, or they have an ID and the moment they show it to a police officer or an ICE official, they get more questions. The level of interrogation increases because you're a woman, but the name on your ID says Michael, or says it has an M marker, or the picture has, like, someone who's very masculine presenting, so then that creates more questions, like, this isn't your ID, or, like, is this your ID, why are you looking like that?
So you mentioned that the Prison Reform Act makes it really hard for prisoners to find any recourse for their issues. Can you talk about some of the legal work that you do specifically to help transgender women of color in prison with the health care that they need against physical and sexual violence?
There's, I feel like the base of it is just, like, sharing educational resources, both for people who are our clients and for people who can't be our clients, because there are some, like, base things that you need to do in order for, if they're able to contact a different attorney and the other attorneys didn't take on their case, like, they would still need to have these things met. And so we share just, like, basic information on, like, how you do a grievance. Like, we shared, like, some samples of, like, these are some recommended grievances, these are some recommended language that we use. You need to keep doing it even though it's awful and the system is tough, and you know you're not actually going to get any justice through the system. You still need to do it through the system in order to actually be eligible for the courts. So it's a lot of information sharing and then like assisting people with this. You know, we have, like, I've had clients who are in solitary confinement and they say they won't take my grievance because it's not on like, the proper paper. And so then I have to, and I usually do like a combination of things where I will submit their grievance, or I will attempt to submit their grievance for them, which they almost always deny because they don't have attorneys submit grievances. And then I will also like write a letter to the, we call them superintendents, wardens, being like, you need to retrain your officers because you have to, that's not fair, that's not correct. You have to take anything that says grievance on it, can't change the grievance. It doesn't have to be in the special paper. And calling them and making sure that that's happening, and like making sure a little follow up. And like that's a lot of the work. Is just like following up with people who are supposed to be doing things, but like whether or not they're doing them. So like calling the facility health service director a million times and be like, well, why hasn't this person had their appointment? And so it's a lot of it is just like the work to build someone's case, and then hope that by the time we get to the point where the case could actually come to court, that like it's actually going to resolve. It's better that it be resolved than to have to wait years and years and years for healthcare.
So basically walking them through the administrative process so that they would be eligible to have it. Right. I think we can open it up to questions if anyone has any questions for Meg, if anyone wants food.
So it sounds like a lot of the problems that you've been describing are actually like just general problems with the way prisons work. Are you connected with other prison reform organizations? Do you guys work together?
Yeah.
You talked about, actually I have a question, you talked about like certain neighborhoods that are especially dangerous for transgender women of color, there are particularly risk there. Can you identify some states?
Yeah, so in particular, certain streets in Jackson Heights, Queens. So Jackson Heights, so Queens itself is one of the most racially and in terms of national origin diverse neighborhoods. I don't know if it's considered a city in the U.S. It's incredibly racially diverse, especially in terms of nationality. It's very a lot of the folks there are either new immigrants or generations of immigrating to the U.S. And so people who are already in Queens are policed because of immigration already, and suspicion is raised if the police officer thinks that your English is spoken with an accent, or if you aren't speaking English at all, and so that's one of the reasons why that's policed. And then, of course, lots of transgender women live in Jackson Heights in particular, and that's also, of course, known as the police. And so, there are certain avenues that if you just stand on, the police officers are guaranteed to get their count for like number of people they have to stop, number of people they have to get arrest for, which of course is also unlawful. They're not supposed to be counts like that, but they do. And so, there's sort of like these ideas, like that if you're on 34th Avenue in Jackson Heights, if you're on 42nd Street in Manhattan, you will encounter transgender women of color, and they will probably have a condom in their bag, and you can probably give it an address for suspicion of prostitution.
I think that's all for today. If you guys have any questions, Mick will be around for a little while to answer your questions. If you have any questions about the particular issue or the Sylvia Rivera Law Project. So thank you all for coming, and let's get started.